Hello, good morning. Welcome back to your daily tarot and astrology. This one's for Monday, February 10th. And as you can see, I'm using the Radiant Rider-Waite. Try saying that fast 5 times. Radiant Rider-Waite. You know what, though? Well, they left out Smith. Pamela Coleman Smith should be in there. It should be Rider-Waite Smith. But maybe they did that because they made the colors a little brighter. You never know. Okay, so I'm sure someone knows, but I don't. What do you guys need to know for today? What it would be the most helpful 3 cards to best use the energy and consciousness that are in the universe today. Right there. Well, okay, we've got the 8 of Swords. Now this might just be in the morning. Now the King of Cups is better. Ooh, that's interesting about the Page of Swords. Coming through reversed. Makes me wonder about something coming out politically. You know, this is a whistleblower card when it comes through reversed. At least to me it is. Some people read it as a whistleblower upright or reversed. Maybe there's 2 whistleblowers. Okay, our theme for the day with the King of Cups is that we would have the best strategy by just going with the flow. Staying connected to our emotional intelligence, which means that we're not coming from emotional reaction. When he's upright, he's not coming from any emotional reaction, but he's going with the flow, trusting his feelings. Okay. It's interesting noticing he has a ring on his middle right hand fingers, kind of like, wonder what that's about. You gotta wonder, right? So, and you can see there's choppy water all around him. They're not real choppy, but it's movement. He's not on a lake. It's definitely I think he's on the ocean because it's a king and because we do have a ship back here with the sails are fully up and moving. There's a lot of pressure there. That doesn't happen usually well, I guess it could. It could happen on a lake, and that could just be a big old bass out there, but I think this is the ocean. And I think he's the king of the ocean of life, especially in the realm of feelings and trusting because without your feelings, you don't get to your intuition, you don't get to your psychic abilities, and you don't have relationships that are trustworthy because everything else is just coming from the head and the mental, when people are cut off from their heart and they haven't done their personal transformational work, they haven't processed through the soul knots, the soul knots that just keep us in an emotional cramp. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. Do you guys remember? It was a total diversion, but it could be a really funny way of looking at the King of Cups. Is if you remember on Saturday Night Live where Jim Carrey did the lifeguard? Remember the lifeguard bit? He was diving he was up on a big lifeguard ladder, sitting up there, blowing a horn, and there's just that one little guy in the pool, but the pool was like a wading pool for kids. And he'd sit up at the top and go, cramp, oh no, and jump in on the guy. It's crazy. That's where my brain went. So, okay. That aside, it's about going with the flow and trusting your feelings. And the more intuitive you are, the better you'll be able to trust your feelings and not to doubt them. But because he's upright, I don't think you would. This could be a person in your life that is very caring, being that it's a Monday. Could be a therapist, could be a doctor, could be even an attorney who, who's caring. They're gonna show their feelings about how much they care while they do their work. And then in the morning with the Eight of Swords, well, it could be a lot of overthinking that has us kind of trapped in the mental realms. But, sometimes the Eight of Swords, it can be our own self-created, mental prison, but it can also sometimes be feeling isolated. And whether or not we're restricting ourselves from relationship because we're not speaking up and saying what we need. Maybe we've had so many, maybe each of these Eight Swords has to do with all the times we've been rejected. The suit of swords is not easy, like especially if you're looking at from 2 all the way through 10. They're not easy. The swords is the hardest suit in the minor arcana. So by the time you get to 8, I could imagine feeling restricted. Although she, thank goodness she doesn't have, anything over her mouth. But, boy, back in the COVID days, we could imagine having I guess that's where the blinder could go over the mouth, and but then again, you had to protect your eyes. Remember? You remember that thing? My God. Airborne. Oh no, that means that we can catch it through our eyes, not just our mouth, but our eyes. Ugh, I'm so glad that's over. So, sorry about my little tangent there. Eight of Swords, you have to figure out in the morning if you're caught in the prison of your own mind and your own fears, or are you just feeling restricted and you have to figure out why. And the way, too, if that's it, would be to get into your feelings. Because fears come from the head, but they come from past, we have good reason to have our fears because we've all lived through so many awful things in so many different lifetimes. So if we can open up to the present moment, and maybe we've been rejected over and over. Maybe we've had a terrible time recently. But we have the present moment. So if we expand with Jupiter, expand our mind with Gemini, expand our thinking, then we can communicate to someone who's trustworthy and would really listen to all of your fears and help you work your way through it. That process is very, very valuable. This guy is not going to reject you, whomever he is. And I'm all for therapy. And it doesn't have to be a man either. Right? Okay. So, Page of Swords coming through reversed. This would be all talk and no action on the personal level. Or making hasty decisions. Or maybe this guy was great, but then you didn't follow through with his advice. Or maybe this guy's awesome, and you felt really good with him, but then he didn't come through with his promises. Sometimes that's the deal when we have, the Page of Swords coming through reversed. But these could be 2 different people, and this one could be someone who was going to go pick up a delivery for you or deliver something for you, and he didn't show up or he went to the wrong address. Could be something like that in the evening. Like if you DoorDash something or Grubhub or whatever you call it, one of those delivery services, or you order groceries to be delivered, and that might be something a little tricky goes on there. Not meaning to, but something doesn't come through. Other times with the Page of Swords, this can have to do with circulation problems around the lower legs. And we are moving through, this is the 10th, the full moon comes in on the 12th, and we all get more swollen. Our bodies are 60-70% water, and it's proven when the tides are high. Well, when the moon is full, the tides are high, and when the tides are high, our body water levels are high. So maybe these 2 with the Eight of Swords and the Page of Swords reversed, maybe this has to do with restriction. Maybe it really is restriction of water, and it could be a lot of water. Now, if it is, the way to push the water through is to drink more water, and then that'll clear out any, which is kind of, like counterintuitive. Like if you're feeling full and swollen, well, most of all, another good thing too is if you're wanting to start a diet or pick a day for fasting, the days up to the full moon are the ones that it's the easiest because you already feel pretty full. So something like that, like either the need to push the water through, or it's a good day to just go with the flow and don't eat much if you're not hungry, or to have a 24-hour fast if you wanted. Yeah. So, okay, that's pretty much all I have there. Now let's look at the astrology over Washington. So they're in session today. And you can see I have the chart set for 9 a.m., okay, over Washington, D.C. And the ascendant is coming in at 9 a.m. at 6 degrees of Aries. I could have put it at 8 a.m., but I figured I don't think they start until 9. They might not even start till 10 for all I know. If anybody knows out there, let me know. But the aspects are interesting. We have a mystic rectangle here. But within that mystic, what creates a mystic rectangle is also the two oppositions. So one opposition that we've been dealing with, of course, is the South Node opposing not only the North Node, because that's always the case. The nodal axis is a polarity, right? But we have Neptune here. So Neptune opposing the South Node is that dynamic of confrontation with just really unconscious people who are trying to victimize others. This is the nebulous, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with, I don't know, we could call him Melonhead or Felon or whatever, or we could call the two of them together Mumps, like Timothy Snyder does. But we're headed in this direction where we need to see it all with this lineup here in Pisces, and especially Saturn getting closer to the North Node. Because remember, the nodes go backwards, so the North Node's headed towards Saturn, and Saturn's headed, they're both coming together to meet in the middle at some point. And I don't know, I'll get a date for that later, but anywho, this stellium here in Pisces has to do with seeing what really is going on, because it's open to the all. And with the South Node in Virgo, we're getting the details. We're getting the download of details, and we're seeing who's working in the light, who's doing their job, who's fighting for the truth, and who is not. And then you can also see with the Sun conjunct Mercury, which the Sun and Mercury never, Mercury never goes too far away from the Sun, but it's conjunct. It's the same degree. A little bit, before it was exact, but we've only got 10 minutes apart there. So I'm sorry, about 50 minutes apart. But anyway, 1 degree is pretty darn close, and this is, this is tight. So the Sun and Mercury, we've got a double square to Uranus. So tensions are, some people are digging their heels in, and it's surprising to the others. And we have 3 squares going on here with this connection between Uranus is squaring. Actually, these other planets are squaring Uranus, because Uranus is just sitting there. But so we're talking a lot of talking, a lot of I don't know if it's networking, because with the GOP, they're using the dark side of Aquarius, and they are abusing their power over the people. and they are disruptive. Now, but this could also be the Democrats disrupting everything and digging their heels in and saying, hell no, we're not going to, vote for this person. But the problem is, well, part of the problem is that some of the Democrats have been crossing the aisle. And, like, I don't know what the hell is with John Fetterman, what's going on there, but he's obviously bought and paid for somehow. But, or his brain's gone. Maybe the stroke affected his critical thinking. But to me, in my mind, he's like another Joe Manchin or, Kirsten Sinema. Or Kristen, is it Kristen? I think it was Kristen. So, but I do think there's a mental thing going on there, because, who goes around in freezing cold weather in hangers and a sweatshirt, Like, what are you wearing, dude? What's that about? So, anyhow, but I don't care. I'll let that part go. I don't care about him if he's, or that doesn't bother me if he's functioning fairly, but he's not. So there's that problem. And there were also a lot of other Democrats that crossed the aisle to vote in people who have now, what's his name, Besant is how you pronounce it, I think Scott Bessent. That guy's probably going to be impeached. But the deal is, some Democrats voted for him. They should not be voting for any of these people that the GOP is throwing up there, that Trump has nominated. Because these people are dark, really, really dark. So I don't know if this is going to be a lot of Aquarian rebellion by the Democrats. I'm hoping that that's what it is. So far, that's what I've been seeing the last few days. And it could create a lot of grief and separation with Ceres, and it could create for a lot of arguments that are, like John Lewis would call it, a good fight, or making some good trouble. And it could be very shocking and surprising over here, and very enlightening for the GOP. That's what I'm hoping. That's the best way I could see this working out. Uranus trining to the South Node also, and this is an applying trine, so the energy is getting stronger every day. What we have here, again, are the facts coming out. When we have any planet or point at a later degree, things are heating up. Things are getting more and more intense. And so you can see the double trine from the South Node up to powerful Pluto. Pluto's all about power issues, power struggles. Struggles between the bigots and the tech bros who think that they can just rule the world, literally the world, not just USA, but the world, and the trine over to Uranus, which can be shocking. But also, Uranus rules the internet. Uranus would be the ruling planet for the tech bros, for the whole tech industry. So there's that. And then we have the moon today. We still have the same, aspects between Mars. Let's notice how, actually we've got more of an exact. Mars trining Saturn is some other energy that's just flowing really, a fast connection here. That just because they're blue lines doesn't mean that things always go good. A lot of astrologers will call them harmonious aspects. No, it all depends on how the connections work. So with Mars in Cancer, we're wanting security. And with the trine over to Saturn ruling the government, and then in Pisces, are we being victimized? Or are they seeing the big picture finally? And are they going to act in a way that protects us? That is yet to be seen. We will be watching that. But the energy is there to, to quickly go, oh, I see how it's working, and shut it down. As best they can, at least. So there's that. And now the moon has progressed far enough into Cancer that we're now at that, between now and the next hour, we're definitely hour and a half, 2 hours. We're at that anaretic degree where things get really intense, because it's, pretty soon it'll move into Leo, and then it's going to be even more courageous. For today, it's all about getting clear on where we're safe and where we are not. And people don't get to break into the treasury and have the rest of us feel safe. They don't get away with that. I mean, that's treasonous. And whether or not Trump could go to prison with his immunity from SCOTUS, that's a whole separate issue. But Melonhead could get some slaps upside the head and get pushed out. He can't be impeached because he doesn't hold a legal position, but he could be pushed out somehow. And other countries could be coming for him as well. So, those are separate readings I need to do. But the moon at that really ripe, degree of Cancer, for the most part, would bring in extra security and protection on the good levels. And where people are, in the Democratic side, they're not going to let go, because they're going to just fight as much as they possibly can, because it is all about security, the security of our homeland. And on the light side, they're going to be more intuitive and try to integrate things. But on the dark side with Cancer, they can just be kind of stuck in the past, like, deer in the headlights. But then again, I don't feel like that it can be that, because we have the sextile to the South Node, which brings in the opportunity to remember all the things that happened in the past. And Trump's just this is like Trump 2.0. He's just doing the same thing he always did before. It's all about him and the money, and it's all transactional, and he's violated the Hatch Act. He should be out on his ear with the 25th Amendment. He should have been impeached and removed. And why? Why are we dealing with this? Something's got to shift, because you can't be protected by SCOTUS like this and expect to have a strong constitution. So, and then the moon squaring Eris. This is by 9 a.m. This is a separating square. So the conflict has been building up, and there's a lot of discord. Just a lot of discord, especially with the women who know what's up, because they're more intuitive, and not with all men, but for the most part, women are much more intuitive, and they can feel when things are off. So they've been feeling it, is what I'm saying there. So I think this is a day to watch the politics. We do have two aspects of the architect within this mystic rectangle. So there is the opportunity for protection, for the women to speak up, gathering facts, and then exerting their power in a way that benefits humanity. And then with the sextile over to see how Pluto is sextile. Well, it's actually Venus sextiling Pluto. Again, the power of the feminine that just won't take it anymore. That's the best way we could use, or that energy could be used in Washington, D.C. But for us too, this is the best energy for protecting ourselves and protecting our assets. And I totally recommend watching Kathy Beale's. I posted it in the post section. I can't say community section anymore because now it's called post. But I posted her video there, and she went step by step with all the things to do to protect ourselves when, since the news has come out about Muskie Man, breaking into the Treasury. So I would highly recommend watching her video there. And I think she's done some more. I haven't had time to watch, but I think she's done a few more since then. So subscribe to her and watch everything she puts out, because she's excellent. Excellent, excellent. So, and she goes over Venus and Aries very in depth. And yeah, let's see. Is there anything else I want to say with that? Yeah, just be in your power, network together. Pluto in Aquarius supports networking. Lots of talking today, Monday. Lots of trying to cut the wheat from the chaff. Is that how you say it? You know, like getting to the just the facts, getting more and more into the facts, and so that we are not victimized with that Pisces stellium there. And it's great for spiritual work. All of these aspects are really, really good for spiritual work and getting into your creative flow. So, okay. Well, that's all I have for today. Be back for tomorrow later. Bye.